Hello, everybody. It's RPG Grandma, and today we're doing campaigns. And I think this is going to perk some people's ears. Campaigns, like personal adventures, must always be conducted by a neutral referee. They can be based on a 1 to 50 scale or a 1 to 1 scale, or both scales as the situation dictates. The important feature of a campaign are manpower, supplies, income, and transport. Those are underlined. As far as the participants are concerned, the referee will prepare maps for each player, outline the vital statistics of the power base of each player, and set forth some form of objective. This is the power, the politics, okay? Therefore, it will be up to the participants to give the campaign form by their planning and actions. The Mars series gives quite a few details of typical cities, empire populations, and overall status. From these descriptions can be drawn the necessary information upon which to base the potential of each empire. For example, Helium will have no trouble fielding a 1,000,000-man army, plus Greenman auxiliaries to the number of 50,000 or more. Transport it anywhere with ample air support and supply it. This means that any objective for Helium must be grand indeed. And that's the Green Men only go if John Carter's been there, okay? But that gives you an idea. They can pretty much do what they want. Yeah. A non-historical approach, Barsoomian history, to a Barsoomian campaign is to place all participants on relatively equal footing by assuming that each commands a territory and force approximately equal to the others. One may be a Jeddak of the Green Horde, another the Jed of a city with a large population, but only a few flyers, Cool, for instance, as your example city, and so forth. Objectives can then be kept to par. Campaign features such as recruiting mercenary troops, researching new weapons, spying, and assassination must also be determined by the referee. We have found it particularly impossible to write really complete campaign rules, for there is always some new feature cropping up or some new idea which a player wishes to try. If the campaign is begun simply, giving only the information noted above, it will function quite well for a few turns. The referee will then be able to handle each new detail as it arises, and a set of house rules for the campaign will quickly and naturally develop. So, house rules are expected in this game, but you're going to need them here and there, okay? And they're telling you to start small and then work up. And a word of advice here. We have anticipated in campaigns which quickly developed into monsters of paperwork for the referee and the players alike. Needless to say, the affairs never saw any conclusion. So it sounds like they had some campaigns go wonky on them, and they're warning you, be careful about that. Keep campaigns as simple as possible, and the players will love them. So don't make too much paperwork, is what they're telling you. Nobody likes it. Just enough to track what those empires are doing, or the Green Hordes, or whatever, and for them to have objectives that make sense in the world. So we have a sandbox setting. We have a campaign style, which pretty much sounds to me like Braunstein. Yeah, pretty much sounds like it. Braunstein. Yeah, I think that's what they were doing. So there you go. You can do things in a variety of ways here. You can have your low level characters that go out and do a bunch of stuff. You can have those adventures going, and at times you can have the bigwig characters go off and do individual stuff. All right. You can have the cities getting into it and having dust ups out in the, with the green hordes or with each other, competing over resources. That would be supplies and income, um, and even manpower. Um, you can have the characters negotiating, and the players are going to be doing the negotiating. They're going to be the ones scheming what they want their empire to do, and it may at times make them player versus player. There's every reason not to necessarily always have them be allied with each other. You can have situations where, okay, yeah, there's going to be a mass war, but to pull it off, we're going to have different players at the table be in charge of these different empires, and each of you have to separately prepare for war. So there's lots of things you can do with a setting like this and with a lack of rules, because you get to add the house rules. The rules say so. So my point is, I think they were probably Bronstein. It sounds like, because this seems like it has that aspect of diplomacy in it. If they're going to have the players set objectives, run empires, and more than likely, have their armies get into it, and their main, player characters get into it and stuff like that. So that is definitely one way you could go. You could also still stick with the home base idea that they have like a home somewhere, and whatever city that is, or Green Horde, or whatever, where they're accepted members of, even if they're not Greenmen. That is possible. And they are part of that, and that they have either moved up and taken it over, or that they are fulfilling some role in that. And then when it's time to do the big political stuff, then they play certain characters that, run the horde or run the city or whatever. You can do that as well. I mean, there's, like I said, there's a lot of stuff you can do with a game like this. So, like, your options are only limited by your imagination, which is cool because you can explore all kinds of stuff, including giving them high-ranking characters that they get to blow the dust off and play with every now and then they go back to wherever their starting characters are at. So, I mean, it's fun. Put them in charge of some stuff. Have somebody be in charge of the local assassins. Or whatever you come up with. Mad Scientist Guild, But there you go. Campaigns. There's more to come. More stuff. Because we got aerial warfare, we've got mass combat, we've got so much more to cover. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Bye.